You walk into a cafe, hand over $4, and get a fresh, hot coffee. To make that happen, farmers, roasters, truckers, and baristas all had to coordinate their actions to reach that counter at the same time. Yet there is no global coffee CEO. No one person is in charge of this process. Anytime you have people who want something and people who have something to sell, you have a market. It is an arrangement that brings buyers and sellers together to make an exchange. That arrangement could be a physical place, like the local cafe or a farmer's market, or it could be digital, like the App Store or Amazon. Whether you are buying a latte in person or an app on your phone, millions of strangers are cooperating to deliver it. The signal guiding their behavior, the metric coordinating all of this activity, is the price. To understand how price works, we have to look at the buyer side. Economists call the relationship between how much a product costs and how much people want to buy the law of demand. This graph shows the law of demand. You can see price on the vertical axis and quantity on the horizontal. The line slopes downward because when the price goes up, people naturally buy less. If a coffee costs $1, you might drink 3 a day. At $20, only 1. But external factors change this. If a drink goes viral, more people want it. The line shifts right, showing higher quantity demanded at every price. Demand measures how much of their own money people are willing to give up to get what they want. In this way, price acts as a translator for human desire. Now let's step behind the counter. For the person making the coffee, the goal is to earn a profit. This brings us to supply, which is the relationship between price and how much sellers are willing to produce. This graph shows the supply curve. It slopes upward, representing the direct relationship between price and production. The higher the price people are willing to pay for coffee, the more profit there is to be made. That potential profit encourages existing cafes to brew more and new coffee shops to open. Sellers are limited by their costs. If a drought makes beans expensive, it costs the cafe more to make each cup. Because the shop earns less profit, they brew less coffee, and the supply curve shifts to the left. Conversely, if the shop buys an automated espresso machine, they can make more drinks with less labor. Better technology lowers the cost of production, which allows them to supply more coffee to the neighborhood. Cafe owners are constantly adjusting their output based on these variables to maximize their profit. By chasing that profit, they ensure there is a cup of coffee waiting for you every morning. This graph shows where the market naturally settles. That pulsing dot in the center, where the two curves meet, is equilibrium. It is the point where the quantity buyers want to purchase and the quantity sellers want to produce match. Markets find this balance through a constant cycle. They track buyer desire, they track seller production costs, and they allow prices to rise and fall until those two sides align. If a sudden trend creates a shortage, the cafe runs low on beans. To manage the low inventory, the cafe raises its prices. That higher price cools off some of the demand, while also giving the cafe the profit it needs to buy more beans. If shops overproduce, there is a surplus. To clear out lattes before they get cold, sellers offer discounts. The price drops until buyers are enticed to purchase the extra supply. In the 18th century, the philosopher Adam Smith observed this self-correcting mechanism. He called it the invisible hand. This continuous tug-of-war connects farmers in South America to local baristas and customers, resolving the needs of millions without a central planning committee. While price coordination is a powerful tool, it is an imperfect system. Relying solely on the invisible hand can lead to market failures. One failure involves externalities. These are costs or benefits from a transaction that affect people who were never part of the exchange. Consider a factory that roasts coffee beans. The factory owner and the buyer agree on a price, but neither of them pays for the pollution the factory pumps into the sky. The families living nearby, breathing the dirty air, bear the hidden cost of that transaction. Equilibrium also breaks down when a single company dominates an industry. If one company controls the entire supply of a product, they hold market power. They can set prices far above what a competitive market would allow. Then there is asymmetric information. If a used car dealer knows a car's engine is failing, a lemon, but the buyer doesn't, that hidden defect destroys the trust needed for markets to work. When prices fail to reflect the whole truth, whether due to hidden pollution or corporate dominance, The invisible hand guides society in the wrong direction. Markets also struggle with different types of products. A cup of coffee is a private good. Only the buyer drinks it. But there are also public goods, which are resources that benefit everyone in society simultaneously. Clean air, street lighting, and national defense are public goods. Private companies rarely provide these because they cannot easily charge individuals for using them. Because private markets won't fund streetlights or stop a factory from polluting, governments step in. They act as the guardrails, providing essential public goods and writing rules to correct market failures. Tomorrow morning, when you grab your cup and step out into the street, take a second to look at what you are holding. That simple purchase is an act of participation in a massive coordination mechanism. It is a system where price signals connect billions of people, while societal rules work to keep the invisible hand on the right track.